The others whispered, and James said softly, "For heaven's sake, Centipede, don't make so much noise." The Centipede roared with laughter. "Those imbeciles couldn't hear anything," he cried. "They're deaf as doorknobs, you watch." And before anyone could stop him, he had cupped his front feet into his mouth and was yelling at the Cloudmen as loud as he could. "Idiots!" he called. "Nincompoops, half-wits, blunderheads, asses! What on earth do you think you're doing over there?" The effect was immediate. The Cloudmen jumped around as if they had been stung by wasps, and when they saw the great golden peach floating past them not 50 yards away in the sky, they gave a yelp of surprise and dropped their shovels to the ground. And there they stood with the moonlight streaming down on all over them, obvious, absolutely motionless, like a group of tall, wiry, white, hairy statues, staring and staring at a gigantic fruit as it went sailing by. The passengers on the peach, all except the Centipede, sat frozen with terror, looking back at the Cloudmen, wondering what was going to happen next. "Now you've done it, you loathsome fest," whispered the Earthman to the Centipede. "I'm not frightened of them," shouted the Centipede, and to show everybody once and again that he wasn't, he stood up to his full height and started dancing about and making insulting signs at the Cloudmen with all 42 of his legs. This evidently infuriated the Cloudmen beyond belief. All at once they spun around and grabbed great handfuls of hailstones and rushed to the edge of the cloud and started throwing them at the peach, shrieking with fury all the time. "Look out!" cried James. "Look, quick, lie down, lie flat on the deck." It was lucky they did. A large hailstone can hurt you as much as a rock or a lump of lead if it's thrown hard enough, and my goodness, how those Cloudmen could throw. The hailstones became whizzing through the air like bullets from the machine gun, and James could hear them smashing against the side of the peach and burying themselves in the peach flesh with horrible squelching noises. Plop, 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 then ping, ping, as they bounced off the poor ladybug's shell because she couldn't lie as flat as the others, and then crack as one of them hit the Centipede right on the nose, and crack again as another one hit him somewhere else. "Ow!" he cried. "Ow! Stop, stop, stop!" But the Cloudmen had no intention of stopping. James could see them rushing about on the clouds like like a lot of huge, hairy ghosts, picking up hailstones from the pile, dashing to the edge of the cloud, hurling the hailstones at the peach, dashing back again to get more and more. And then, when the pile of stones was all gone, they simply grabbed handfuls of cloud and made as many more as they wanted, and much bigger ones now. Some of them as large as cannonballs. "Quickly," cried James, "down the tunnel, or we'll be wiped out." There was a rush for the tunnel entrance, and half a minute later everybody was down safely downstairs inside the stone of the peach, trembling with fright and listening to the noise of hailstones as they came crashing against the side of the peach. "I'm a wreck," groaned the Centipede. "I am wounded all over." "Serves you right," said the Earthworm. "Would somebody kindly look and see if my shell is cracked?" the Ladybug said. "Give us some light," shouted the old green grasshopper. "I can't," wailed the Glowworm. "They've broken my bulb." "Then put in another one," the Centipede said. "Be quiet a moment," said James. "Listen, I do believe they're not hitting us anymore." They all stopped talking and listened. Yes, the noise had ceased. The hailstones were no longer smashing against the peach. "We've left them behind. The seagulls must have pulled us away out of danger." "Hooray, let's go up and see." Cautiously, with James going first, they all climbed back up the tunnel. James poked his head out and looked around. "It's all clear," he said. "I can't see them anywhere." Chapter 28. One by one, the travelers came down out again onto the top of the peach and gazed carefully around. The moon was still shining as brightly as ever, and there were still plenty of huge shimmering cloud mountains on all sides, but there were no Cloudmen in sight now. "The peach is leaking," shouted the old green grasshopper, peering over the side. "It's full of hose, and the juice is dripping out everywhere." "That does it," cried the Earthworm. "If the peach is leaking, then we all should surely sink." "Don't be an ass," the Centipede told him. "We're not in the water now." "Oh, look," shouted the Ladybug. Look over there." Everybody swung around to look. In the distance, and directly ahead of them, they now saw the most extraordinary sight. It was kind of an arch, a colossal curvy-shaped thing that reached up high into the sky and came down again at both ends, resting upon a huge flat cloud that was as big as a desert. "Now what in the world is that?" asked James. "It's a bridge. It's an enormous hoop cut in half. It's a giant horseshoe standing upside down." Let me see if I'm wrong, murmured the centipede, going white in the face. But might those not be cloudmen climbing all over it? There was dead silence. The peach floated closer and closer. They are cloudmen. There are hundreds of them. Thousands. Millions. I don't want to hear about it, shrieked the poor blind earthworm. I'd rather be on the end of the fishhook and used as bait than come up against those terrible creatures again. I'd rather be fried alive and eaten by a Mexican, wailed the old green grasshopper. Please keep quiet, whispered James. It's only our only hope. They crouched very still on top of the peach.